Okay. All right.
How's it going?
He's caught me in the middle of wiping something on my gums. Orange gel.
Wiping
Because
something
I've got
gums.
me bad teeth. Toothache. It is not cocaine.
Yes,
Actually, I
it's
suppose
very
cocaine would be
suspect.
superb for a
You've just
toothache,
come,
so I bet.
you've just come into a podcast and say you've got something on your gums. Either one could be related to very sexual,
No,
or two, there's something very sinister about that. It's really wrong.
it's, it's not. It's not. It's neither. It's neither. It happened to connect as I was wiping orange gel on my
Oh no,
gums.
it's just got
Really bad
worse.
toothache.
That's worse.
And it is. I'd rather be doing drugs right now than fucking have toothache. I promise you that.
Yeah, well, anybody would, to be honest.
Leave me alone in morning.
Morning, you're not morning. You're the most anti-morning person going. You, you are the furthest from morning I can possibly think of. I don't know anybody that's going to mourn less than you.
Oh dear. It's sad really because my mum's a massive royalist. So
Yeah, my girlfriend is as well.
well, not really. Oh, your girlfriend. I thought you said mine.
Yeah, no.
I was gonna say. I was like, one, how'd you know that? And two, no, she's not.
Who the
You're
fuck
feeding
you on
wrong
about?
information about Shelby. You're sending you messages saying, no, Shelby's a massive royalist.
No, I don't know if Shelby's a royalist or not. I
She's
sit on the fence.
so oblivious. She's so brilliantly oblivious to it all. She didn't even know what the Queen's called. She didn't even know what her actual name was. That's how oblivious to any of it she is. She didn't even know she was dead for ages. So she went on Facebook, and obviously you can't fucking miss it now, can you? You can't drive anywhere without seeing her face.
No, that's true. I mean, I guess it helps, doesn't it? But yeah, it's not good. But it depends on your point of view of it as well. Like, we've been through this. I mean, it depends on your point of view on the whole, bravado.
I'm gonna refrain from spouting any hatred towards the Queen. I think everyone who knows me, I don't like the Queen or the royals or defending paedophiles anyway, or hunting tigers or raping countries and taking diamonds for your crowns and anything like that. I don't like that kind of stuff. It's weird, right? We are a country who are massively against like people who hunt foxes, and that cunt were going around hunting tigers. And he's like, oh, let's mourn the Queen. What are you on about? Very weird. The country's so backwards. But that's all on the matter. It only took me 3 minutes in.
I know. To be honest, I was kind of accepting the fact that it might just turn into a fucking groveling match between you and some fucking royalists. To be honest, so I was quite accepting the fact that doing a podcast, he's going to kick off about it because clearly you don't like him. So I kind of just accepted it. But whether you want to carry on or not is a different,
No, I'll tell you one thing. I think this is the main thing. What links the two? I just think the whole mark of respect cancelling the football is bizarre. It's beyond bizarre. I do not get that. Like I don't even from a fundamental point, even if I was remotely okay with the royal family or whatever like that, I still wouldn't understand how cancelling football would be any sign or mark of respect. It doesn't even remotely make any sense.
No sense. No, I know it. It's not like we're not going to stop going to work, is it? That's what I don't get. Oh yeah, you can still go to work, but yeah, fuck you. You know, we're taking football away from you. Why?
Yeah, it's the whole concept. It's like such an old protocol as well. To like, it's like probably like 78 years old. Like you do this, you do that, everything shuts down. It's like so backwards. I remember at my own granddad's funeral getting a phone call off work saying, "Can you come in?" Whilst the Queen dies, I get 2 weeks off. Like, apparently, everything shuts down. Like, what? No, no, I don't. But I mean, apparently that's the protocol. Everything's supposed to shut down for like 12 days of mourning, but you don't even get to mourn your own family for less than 1 day. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah. It's special. There's a lot of that, and I think that doesn't help royalist cause. Is that specialist treatment? Yes, of course, people know that they're royals, but in theory and in my opinion, it's just another. Granted, it's a big loss in my opinion, but I think it is just another human being. Because at the end of the day, no human being is better than any other human being, in my opinion. So, for me, it's a bit like, yeah, I think it's right. In my opinion, I think it's right to mourn. Of course, it is. It shed a big impact on people's lives. But some of the things, though, I mean, just cancelling football games. I mean, really, don't really don't understand that.
No, it don't make any sense. And the thing is, and I've seen people point this out, and this is from people on the other side, like, I'm fine with people having opinions, and I'm fine with people thinking I'm going to throw my opinion. That's the whole point of having an opinion. Like, you disagree. Like, you know what Carl's like, and fucking Carl's one of my best mates, and he's a massive royalist. Do you know what I mean? He fucking loves the Queen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we could call each other a cunt all day, which we pretty much have. But like, it's just one of them things. And I've seen people who's like the same as him, where it's like, if you want a mark of respect, do a fucking minute silence before the game. Black armband, you could have the national anthem. Could do all sorts. That's a massive sign of respect. Cancelling it altogether does nothing. Like, that's a very strange thing to do.
I don't understand that. I just, if you're going to cancel the good things, you can cancel the fucking bad things as well.
Yeah, they've overturned the decision with the rugby and the cricket, though, which is strange. The cricket was cancelled for tomorrow, but now it's back on again. I was hoping to do it with football, but I can't see it with football because it's massive compared to them two sports.
Yeah, I mean, it's just random as fuck, though, isn't it? It's like, oh yeah, let's just cancel all the games. They cancelled the boxing as well. There was a really big fight as well, Savannah Marshall versus Clarissa Shields, which I was actually really looking forward to. I thought this is a really good fight. Really looking forward to. Cancelled that as well. I mean, again, difference of opinion. You can say if it's right or wrong.
Strange. It's like a mark of respect, but it's like, yeah, but who for really? Because I can't imagine the Queen would have gave two shits about Wigan versus Blackburn this weekend. Right? I just can't imagine it. Like, she wouldn't have even known that game was on. She would be oblivious to 90% of the football that would have been being played this weekend. Like, she might have seen some of it on the news on Match of the Day, which I doubt she watched, but it's very strange. It's weird. And the whole point is similar to the point you was making. For me, even though it's everywhere and all the news, if I didn't have social media or anything, or it was a different kind of lifetime, it'd be similar to someone saying to me, Doris, the old lady down the road, has died. I'd be the same, like, oh, that's sad. But because it's crammed in your face, you're a bit like, just shut the fuck up. Do you not care? Like, leave it be. It's so weird.
It just doesn't make any sense at all, though. I mean, I get mourning. I understand it. The way I summarise it is, which is another point that's really pissed me off today, which I'm going to come to in a minute, is because it's just, I've never seen begging it on the level that I've seen it recently. This is fucking atrocious. But I've seen you're already flapping already, aren't you?
I'm just waiting for you. Just waiting like the full Trevor Sinclair come out now.
No. That is pretty bad though. That, I mean, fair play. That is pretty fucking bad. That there's no denying that. That's pretty fucked up. I mean, I get his point, but the timing,
it's all about the timing there. Like, even I was like, some balls. Like, I had the exact same thoughts. Like, he's definitely not wrong. Like, I mean, he's kind of wrong to put everyone in that same bracket. It's kind of racist to throw everyone in that same bracket. Like, there's definitely, if you're from India or somewhere like that, like, do you realise she was literally the Emperor of India? Like, literally, they changed the title to the head of the Commonwealth, but it was pretty much being the Emperor of India. So if you're from India, like, why would you be that upset that she's dead? Like, not really. But I get, and a lot of other countries, like Caribbean countries, especially Jamaica, like, I can't imagine them being massively upset if they looked at the history, which is would assume they probably know. But to say it directly after it happened was like pretty ballsy, and especially when you're in his kind of position and job. Me and you can say what we want because we've got no influence, but for someone like him, we're like,
we're not in a position of influence, and that's exactly the point. He's a TV broadcaster. People listen to what he says, and he gets paid for it. He's on a national level. Thousands of people don't give a fuck about us, whether we're alive or dead, to be honest.
Literally, like, that is the big difference. Like, I think it's kind of the beauty of making a small time podcast, because it is just us like getting shit off our chest because we can just say what we want because it doesn't matter.
Anyway, going back to that point before, so mourning and grieving, I completely understand that. And even if it's not somebody it's like when a famous rock star dies, people grieve because that person's been a part of their life. Okay, it's not visually been a bit, physically, tangibly, it's not been, that person's not been a part of their life, but they have in some way. It's, if you think about, I don't know, I mean, say like, pick somebody random. Say if Wayne Rooney died tomorrow from my.
I was a lot more shocked when David Bowie died.
Yeah. The Heroes, that song will resonate with me for the rest of my life, and and that is, that's very sad. It's really sad. But here's the twist. So here's the one that everybody fucking laughs at because they just love me moaning. Apparently, is the fact that I saw a video on Twitter before of a guy downing a glass of wine, half a glass of wine, videoing himself, by the way. So he's videoing himself. He's got his fat chin in this video, and he's selfie videoing himself, downing half a wine and saluting to the national anthem. What the fuck are you doing? You're weirdo.
Army salute or Nazi salute because she's got ties to both. She'd be very happy with both of them things.
But one thing that's pissed me off about this is I feel like people just trying to get that moment of it. What?
Yeah.
Mourning and grieving, okay, are very acceptable to me, and I think everybody is allowed to mourn and grieve whenever they like. But filming yourself looking like a twat is not mourning and grieving. It's just looking like a twat, being a self-obsessed cunt. So I don't get it.
It's virtue. It's all virtue signaling, even to some extent. Even I get, granted, there's some people put the odd post, but people going to extremes like that, it's all virtue signaling to get a few likes, because grieving is probably the most what's the word, private and thing for yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's one thing that most people do between them and their close family, especially if it's a family member. But if you wanted to go and cry somewhere because the Queen's died, that's fair enough. If you love the Queen that much, you don't put it all over social media for the world to see. Like that comes across as super fake. I can guarantee, I can 100% guarantee that my mum probably got quite upset last night, 100%, because she's always loved the Royals, and she's always got upset at me because I detest the royal family. So he's always had that. But I know for a fact that that's genuine, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But it's when you see, I've seen so many people who have never even mention the Queen, have any kind of hint to the royals, and then put massive posts on Facebook about it. It's like, what are you on about? Keep over. I'm the one thing that keeps winding up is she's done so much for this country. I'm like, well, not really. A few 100-year-olds aren't going to get a letter this year, or they are going to get one, but it's going to be written by King Charles. You know what I mean? Aside from that, she signs and rubber stamps things. She doesn't do much more else. And it's like, oh, she's the longest reigning monarch. It's like, yeah, that's just staying alive when you're a fucking monarch, though. That's all that she's done. Being the longest reigning monarch just means you've stayed alive. I don't get how that's an achievement. It's very strange. I don't know. That's why I didn't want.
There's no achievement in staying alive, especially when you've got millions of pounds of healthcare behind you. I mean, there's genuinely no achievement in staying alive. I agree with that. I get what you're saying, but I do disagree with what she done. In the respect that as a monarch, your every move is kind of chastised and criticised effectively. Now, rightfully so, you make a good point that not everybody will approve of what she does, and you're never going to. It's the same with politics. Not everybody looks at politics and think, yeah, they're the perfect people. They're so perfect, because you don't. So any position of power, you're never going to be perfect in that respect, I don't think. Mm-hmm. And the Queen's no different. I do have a lot of respect for the Queen. Am I an ultra royalist? No, because some of the points you made earlier about Commonwealth conquering and stuff like that. Obviously, pedos and all that shit.
Obviously, pedo. I think that for me, that's right up there with the for me. Well, before she died, even a few weeks ago, I was making this point, saying for me that is a very big no-no, because technically, if he goes on to rape again, that's on the Queen. That is on her head. She, to be honest, pretty much bailed him out.
You've got to remember, and I'm not condoning what he's done, but you've got to remember that he was doing it at a time where social media wasn't prominent. And the fact that it's only come to light a lot later is where his stumbling block's been on it. But what can
it was pretty like recent-ish. She put a claim in like 2009, I think. So it was definitely a time where he had investigations in the 1980s and then 2009, and then he was tinkering around with Epstein in like 2013. So
was Joel Blazer.
Oh, they're all fucking at it, mate. Honestly, we'd be here for hours. If we did if we was bringing up the paedophiles, Jesus Christ. I just got finished because do you know what this has drove me to? Like, I've just watched so many documentaries at the minute because of pure boredom of no football being on and looking ahead to the weekend of football. I was just watching I've watched it before, but I was rewatching called the Elm Guest House documentary, which is like pretty much a pedo's paradise where all Parliament went there raping kids, and it made that was very disturbing. And when when it all came out, it was pretty much Jimmy Savile all related to that, like all that case. You have to watch it yourself, mate, because it's hard. I don't really want. It's that disturbing. I don't really want to go into it too much on here because it's not really what
I think the real eye opener was actually that Jimmy Savile documentary. In kind of like the sickest form. I couldn't take my eyes off it because I was in a state of shock by how oblivious people were. I'd probably say. I mean,
the scary thing is he was very, very close and very good friends with. Well, I was Prince Charles, now King Charles, the king of this country, was very good friends with like the most notorious paedophile of all time. Like, it's like, what the fuck?
It is very sus. Yeah, you're not wrong. It is very sus. There's no denying that. I know. Yeah. Can you accuse them of being wrong for it? Yeah, because you should call it out. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Well, Prince Charles is like. Here's the thing as well. Like, if the test I had for the Queen weren't nowhere near as bad, I didn't really hate the Queen that much, to be honest. Like, I just don't like the royal family. I definitely don't like the big show she's going to get and the millions spent. When the country's on its knees, she's going to have a multi-million-pound funeral. Blah 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 blah. I hate all that, but the detest I love for King Charles will be, mate, that guy is a very bad man. He's a very, very bad man. Like, his history, like, is awful. Mate, honest to God, like, I don't want to call him a paedophile, but let's face it, he met Diana when she was 15, and then he was with her like a year later or 2 years later, wherever it was. Like, grooming much? Come on. I don't know. It's a very got a suspicion around her death, considering she was supposed to be pregnant at the time.
Do you not think with the gravity of their positions, there is just, how can I describe it? Fantasy rumours put around stuff like this. I mean, I'm not saying for 1 minute that it can just be called a fantasy, because it can't. Because what you're saying, it's a very bold claim. Granted, there's no.
It's a very bold claim. I'm not accusing the brand new king.
Like a very serious allegation, and it's like,
oh yeah,
saying it's wrong.
Get a knock at the door. Fucking big ears at the front door. It's like King Charles at the front door, like, hello, boy. Yeah, coming with me. No. I'd be shocked if he was listening to this. But I mean, it's all out there.
Just for record, if somebody knocks on your door anyway, they wouldn't have a fucking clue, because it wouldn't be your door. They'd have to press on the button.
That is very true, mate. Yeah, but I mean, a lot of it's out there. Like, yeah, granted, a lot of it's conjecture, and I am not saying that he definitely did certain things, but he definitely did meet her at a very young age. I mean, that just seemed to be the thing at the time, though. So, I mean, that's probably how he'd get out of that one. But
that's a very good point. I'm going to change it just on that point, because I was kind of, in essence, waiting for you to mention that. Because obviously, given some of the Queen's mistakes, would you not say they were mistakes of her time in reign? And B, do you think she would have been the same if she ruled for another 70 years from this point now onwards?
I know, but it's hard to say that though, because could you say the same to fucking ex KKK members stuff like? Would you say that to them?
No, that's a good
Like,
point.
was it just?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Was that
That is
just
a good
not part
point.
of the time? But people when they're smart and powerful, mate, they get away with it. That's the bottom line. If you're rich and powerful, you get away with your history. That is a fact. 90% of the people who started NASA were ex-Nazis. That is a guaranteed fact. And they just get away with it, mate, because of fucking.
I'm sorry, is that a fact?
Oh yeah, it's what was it called? Project something or another, mate. They literally had a lot of these Nazis who were going to like the Nuremberg trials, and Russia, UK, and America just fucking handpicked the best scientists because they were amazing scientists, mate. They came up with all sorts of best rockets, like rockets are pretty much the same ones dropping on countries were the ones that got sent up to space, and yeah, like pretty much a high percentage of the early NASA scientists were Nazis, mate. 100%. That's a fact. Like, if look, like I was watching one the other day. One of the earlier inventors of probably later, like a good functioning computer was a Nazi, mate. Can't remember his name, but then he went on to work for NASA again. Like top mathematicians, all of them, mate. But do they get anything? No. Get a little fucking mate. What is he called? You need to find this. Actually, there's a very, very one of the most ruthless Nazi commanders, and he was doing all kinds of experiments, mate. He was injecting people's eyes with fucking blue dye to try and make them have blue eyes. And he went on to be one of the...
Just for the record, we do that in modern day optometry. It's called dilation, so nothing wrong with
that.
Oh,
yeah, but that's what I mean. This cunt was doing it in the 1930s. This is what I'm saying. He was doing it on, like, Jewish prisoners in the 1930s, mate.
Yeah,
and he went on to be one of the top guys at NASA. I can't remember his name, though. They've all got very similar sounding names, like Goebbels. Like, it'll be literally one of them kind of names, like 100%. But this is what I'm saying. No, there's loads, like, because they've all got stupid names, like the one for the Queen dying was, what is it? London Bridge has fallen or something stupid. Like, they've all got silly names, so it's hard to remember exactly what they're called. But yeah, research it. It's all out there. It's all documented stuff where all these kind of things happen, and it's like they just get a slap on the wrist. And it's the same with the Queen, and it's like, oh, it was just the monarchy. It's like, well, you can't do that to everyone, though. Like, oh, the history, and that's just the way it's felt. But like, yeah, but she's lived that life. It's not as if she turned it down and went, no, fuck it, I'm not happy with that. I don't want to know. I feel like Prince Harry tried to do that, and they dragged him back in. I think he wanted to turn away from it all, but he kind of got collared back in. But I definitely think she should have been held accountable to some extent, but they will never see that. That won't happen like this. I mean, like other countries have done it. Other countries like pulled down their monarchy, but we're just happy to give ours millions upon millions, which is just strange.
I think it's a tricky one, that, because it's. I get what you're saying. You know, if you're being kind of taken advantage of, but the problem is the British people don't all see it that way, and as you've seen there, you know, a lot of them think that, you know, she was the best thing since sliced bread. So it really, it's a really tricky one. I've got to be honest. I like, even myself, I'm not convinced she's this big criminal like you are. You know, I'm not. I certainly don't see it that way.
I don't necessarily think she's a criminal. I won't say, like, I don't think don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, granted, I probably would be labeled a conspiracy theorist, but if you'd put me next to some of the real conspiracy theories that I've seen, like, I like to think I'm smart enough to watch a documentary and then nitpick myself and go, like, this seems like bullshit, this seems like true, because there's conspiracy theories out there where the Queen is drinking kids' blood to stay alive for so long. Like, literally, that's the extent you see these, like, theories out there. And I wouldn't go that far. I definitely don't think she's done any of that kind of shit, but I definitely think she's turned a blind eye to it. Like, Prince Andrew's a paedophile. That's a fact. Like, he's had to pay off his victims. He's a paedophile. She's very close or knew about Jimmy Savile, like, just like all of the BBC did. I doubt she didn't know about it. She seemed quite close to him. Whether or not she had any involvement with Princess Diana is debatable. I personally think that there was something going on there to do with, like, Princess Diana's new boyfriend and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying that the royal family's racist, but, you know, if your ancestors were colonizing the whole planet, I feel like you might make you a little bit that way. And then you wouldn't really like one of them impregnating and the royal family. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not. But I wouldn't. It's not like I hate the Queen, and if she didn't die, I wouldn't care about the Queen. But it's hard to not talk about the Queen when she's just fucking everywhere, isn't she? Like I can't turn the TV on without seeing her at the minute. I've had to come off both social medias to avoid these kind of conversations. And not only going to get you in trouble, but it's just one of them things, isn't it? Like, it is what it is. She's dead now. And with any kind of truth comes out, it won't matter to her now anyway. She's lived a long, probably quite happy life. I mean, just Philip was the same though, mate. Dirty bastard as well. Like, you a little Nazi, but he got away with it. Died at an old age. I mean, what? Like, he's literally German as well. Well, that was like kind of like, no, don't worry about it. And then these pictures of, well, obviously with the Queen doing the Nazi salute, that was with, I think it was Edward. And he was just pictured with Adolf Hitler, and he was a very big Nazi sympathiser. And he just
what year was that? Like what?
1935, I think. 1935, 1936, something like that.
So it's pre-war, and it's.
Oh yeah, no, and I'll tell you why, because they were all.
I'm not saying it's right. It's very, very wrong.
Whether or not the Queen was racist or not is one thing. She probably changed her ways, but she definitely was raised racist. I'll say that much. She must have been. It's like her ancestors. Look what they all did. So it makes sense that she would have been raised that way. Whether she was herself or not is a different matter. But she was definitely raised that way.
So you've got to remember, I think most white people were probably racist at that time.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, come on. If yours, I get where you're coming from with just, you know, from the royal perspective, but I reckon most white people of that time were probably racist.
No, well, I wouldn't say like probably a majority of them were, but only because they weren't really used to it. But I'd also say a lot of them wouldn't be doing Nazi salutes down the street. I would like to think that I can't imagine that happening often, and especially I can't imagine most people's like dads or granddads at that time would have been having pictures with literally Adolf Hitler. Like, but yeah, he had to get fucked off to the Bahamas, like, because they wouldn't change his views on it all, and he just kind of disappeared into the background, like relinquished the crown, disappeared. So there's always the stuff like that with him. I don't know, it's weird. I just find the whole thing, the whole loving with them all is so strange, because even if you see films or anything, they're the villain. In Star Wars, they're the Empire, man. They're the bad guys. They're literally the villains in everything. And then in real life, it's like, oh, let's spend millions of taxpayers' money to live them a nice, comfortable life. Like, what the fuck? It's so strange. It's strange. And now it's affecting football.
I do agree on that one when people going about, oh yeah, she's served for like 70 years, you know, when it's been really tough and stuff like that. As you know, I think it's really tough for people that can't eat every night because they're still on the streets because the system's rigged. You know, I'm sure they find it tough, but nobody bats an eyelid to that one, do they? They just fucking keep their mouth shut. I do get that point. I really do get that point. To add
to that point, I saw a very telling picture on Twitter. It was a poster of the Queen. Like, have you seen them? Every electronic billboard or poster has been changed to like R.I.P. Queen Elizabeth, blah blah blah, and it's got this this big poster of her, which would have cost a bit of money, and then it's just got a homeless guy just sat next to it, and it just that like the whole country mourning her when you've got a country literally on its knees that bad. It's just weird, mate. It's so fucking strange that it's just commonplace and that accepted, and it's like. I even saw that news anchor, that's an American term, but the new journalist, like, the journalist go, we can't really talk about the cost of living crisis right now, or something along them lines, or it don't really matter right now. The Queen's just died. It's like that's so fucking backwards, and that's so fucking bizarre. That like it's like, no, it's all out the window. Don't worry about being poor. Don't worry about not being able to eat right now because the Queen's dead. And I'll tell you what, we don't give a fuck. King Charles, mate, he could not be quick enough to put a post out saying he's the king. Hey, half the country ain't even reacted to dying yet, and he put a post out.
So that is a little bit different. I get where you're coming from, but you've got to remember they are trained and practiced because it is part of their. So, and I get where you're coming from because it's this whole tradition thing and blah blah blah. No one gives a shit, but like they are trained to kind of desensitized to it, aren't they? It's not like us when I'd say our mum or dad died, like, well, we'll cry and stuff like that. Like they are literally trained to be. I don't get that as well. Why would you train someone to not get upset when your mum dies? That's actually really fucked up when you think about it.
Well, if you want to do a 5-hour podcast on why the royal family and people like that are so fucked up, we can.
Hey, I'm down. Like, why? Like, why? Why are we paying fucking psychiatrists to go up to our royal family and go, oh, your mum's dead, but don't cry about it. Smile. Smile. Yeah, smile. Your mum's dead. Smile. That's really fucked up.
Honestly, you should be listening to some of the documentaries I've been listening to going on about how incest and doing this and all sorts. It fucks up the psyche and makes them certain ways, mate. Like honestly, they're deep, and you do get some facts, and when you see the facts there and then you find it yourself, like they do back up what has been said, and it's like fair enough. But then you get some, mate, and they're just fucking wild. And you know who it was so close to hitting the nail on the head, and eyes as if someone paid him off. Have you ever heard of David Icke or David Icke or whatever he's called? He had some whatever he's called, mate. He had some great theories and backed up with facts. And then he just started saying, like, later on that the Queen was a lizard, and it's just one of them where it's like, I was going along so much with these theories that, like, wow, yeah, he's got a really good deep dive here and bringing up facts, and a lot of the stuff he said came to fruition and blah blah blah, and then like he's just got another side to it where he's just like, yeah, and the reason I do this is because they're all lizard people and blah blah blah. It's like, oh God, you have me so sold. I know, mate. It's weird because a lot of the other stuff he says is bang on, and then he had the. I think he's scrapped all that now. But at the time, he was just like, because I've been following conspiracies and blah 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 for years and years. Like I'd heard about the Epstein case in 2016, 17, I think, and that was like 2 years before it came out.
I don't think anybody listening to this is surprised. Just putting it out there. I just don't think anybody.
Yeah, it's true. Hey, I remember. I remember talking about with Ross. God, that's going back to years. Like that's me and Ross were speaking about conspiracy theories back when we were kids. Like literally, I think it's. I just think most of the time it's just kind of facts. So it's not even really conspiracy. It's just actual hard evidence of this is something that actually happened. Like these like say people say false flags never happen and blah blah, but there's actual ones that they came out and actually admitted to, and like I think it's the Gulf of Tonkin incident where it's like they came out and had to that was a false flag. They did that so they could do this, and it's sometimes it's a bit like but I think that they also infiltrate the other side, and they also make maniacs go out there. Pretty much actors go out there and just say mental conspiracy theories just so it clogs it all up. So then the real ones just disappear into the background because they get clogged up with reptile people. God.
Yeah, it all becomes a big blur, and some of them are probably right and shitloads are probably wrong. Coming from with that.
Yeah, I think that's true. Back to football, I won't say his name, but this is one of the main things that pissed me off about the cancelling thing. I won't say his name because I think it's a bit cheap to use his situation to back up a point. But obviously, a very well-known footballer had a family member die. And then a few days later, he scored and played football, blah, blah, and he celebrated and blah, blah, and it was like a big thing. But now he's being told that he can't play because he's got a mourn, and he was playing that, and it was someone very close to him, and he played that game and scored a goal. And it's like,
who was it?
Can do that. I don't really want to say because I think it's kind of a bit cheap just to make a shit little point and use it because it's pretty sad. I think you'll definitely know it. But like it was someone you wouldn't bear, you wouldn't even want to think about losing. But he did that, and then I think it was like literally 3 days later he scored. And again, it would have been 3 days later he would have been playing after the Queen died. But now he's getting, if they cancel it next week, 2 weeks off because he still plays now, so he's getting 2 weeks off. You know what I mean? I find it very strange. Like
I get what you're saying. We shouldn't be preferencing the Queen for 2 weeks off or for anybody else because everybody's life is just important. Listen, I
wouldn't know about
agree
it.
With that. I totally agree with that.
Like relating it to Wigan, when Charlie White collapsed, we went on that night and won against, I think it was Fleetwood away, or drew against Fleetwood away. He collapsed and had a heart attack and might have died in hospital that night. And our players were playing. And it's very strange that that's someone who's so close to the club, but then it's the Queen who none of them will ever meet. And it's like, oh, 2 weeks off. Like, what? That's so weird. That's very weird. It's what you were saying before. It's putting somebody's life above everybody else's. It's putting her life above all, like, which is strange. Which is very, very strange.
Yeah, it's not right. That's exactly my point. I'm all about equality. So, yes, I get she's a monarch, she's a queen, she's this and she's that, but I don't agree with preferential treatment for anybody. I just don't. I don't give a fuck who you are. Because at the end of the day, that's where bad things happen if you start giving preferential treatment. Prince Andrew, prime example. Oh yeah, I can rape all the kids. That's fine. But that's exactly the precedent that it sets. So then when you do get, like, I'm going to say when people don't like the monarchy for things, it's usually because of that. It's usually because people, oh, well, why have they been given that? Oh, because it's them. Yeah. Why is that?
It's very strange. You know what? It always gets me, and that I think it's one of the thing in my head. What I always think of when I think about it is I always think like I know it's like obviously let go of the past kind of thing, but I always like to think of my ancestors, and I'd think like imagine like being a peasant in a field, then knowing that this king is coming and literally just taking a shit on your face, taking all your money, going living in his castle, and then his great grandkids are going to be worshipped like gods by your great grandkids. It'd be like, what the fuck? Like imagine they'd be just sat there like, what is going on? It's very strange. Like it's super weird, but I get 100%. I get like over a certain age, especially because I know for a fact my parents would have been raised on it. Probably yours the same, or raised on the Queen, the Queen. Like, everyone loved it. Like, you know what I mean? It makes sense. Like we used to be a super patriotic country, but I think once the internet came around and people could research just how fucked up the British Empire was and how fucked up the royals have been to everybody, I think that's why our generation and people a bit younger and blah blah start learning and reading and going, hang on, they're not that great.
You've got to remember, our generation is affected with the start of this defection, if you like. It defected from its queen because for those reasons, there's much talked about, how loyal we should be, but at the same time, like these like, how could I describe it? Like, I suppose you could call them crimes, if you like, or these indiscretions, or these lack of, it's like when Charles split up with Diana and then she died. Very, there's things like that that really do make people think, hang on a minute, that's not right. So, and then to not have public, no statements, no nothing, it does build doubt. So there's no doubt. I do think some of it is, twisted in respect that it's just poorly managed. Personally, I do generally.
It's weird. I find it's weird, and I think it's all about a length of time. I think over time, people start looking back at history and thinking, blah, blah, blah. Like it's weird to think. I imagine that people, when Henry VIII was beheading his wives, people were probably there at the time cheering, going like, "Yay, chop her head off again!" But we look back now and go, "What a fucking monster! Like, what was he fucking doing? Like chopping everybody's head off?" But you can guarantee that the people at that time would have been just cheering, and it seems like it'll be the exact same thing. People in the future will look back at this and go like, "Hang on, why the fuck were they so happy with all this going on?" But it's hard. It's hard to get across.
For me. I literally, no word of a lie. It's really funny you say that. I literally said this to my girlfriend before. It's like, Henry VIII was right. bastard, and everybody idolised him for it. I think there's one difference about Queen Elizabeth compared to any other monarch is that she's actually a monarch that people loved. People didn't fear her. But the only people that loved old monarchs like Henry is because they fucking feared him, in my opinion. Whereas Elizabeth was generally somebody that was loved because she, embraced kind of like all different societies and cultures, where she actually was seen as a role model, especially from a women's perspective as well.
Very strange.
But
I find it weird though. It's like it all covered up. You know what I think it is, and I've always thought this. England as a country has this very, very weird, narrow-minded opinion on old people. The second you get grey hair and turn old, like, you are untouchable, you are the best person in the world. It's fucking weird. It's as if paedophiles, murderers, and rapists don't grow old. It's fucking strange.
Old people.
It is. They get so much respect. It's fucking weird.
They're actually just kids, I think. This is a theory I've got with old people, because I've worked with a lot of them, is that I think a lot of them, as soon as you must get to like a middle part of your age. I'd say once you get to about 50, 60, obviously your body parts get older, but your mental age just dies, and you get younger, because honestly, the simple things do not come easy to them. It's like manners. It's like because they're old, they feel like they've got this self-righteous, point above us all, where they can dictate
I can see why.
Do. And it's just like, no, you fucking don't. You fuck off. Like,
this country's so very strange. It's like that guy, what was he called? He won Britain's Got Talent a few years ago, singing that song, and it was shit, and he couldn't even sing, and he won the whole of Britain's Got Talent against a magician. He was fucking amazing. And I will not get over that. Like, I remember watching it time, like, and he was a magician. He was on the year before, and he kept his identity hidden, and he was putting little subliminal messages in everything. All these acts were amazing. Did a big reveal, blah, 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 and he got beat by some old man who sang the same song 3 times, out of tone, shit, fucking awful. But because this country is obsessed with old people, they just like, yeah, he wins. Like, it's so weird. You could. This is generally, like, obviously this probably has happened, right? You could be 20 years old. You could rape and murder a whole family, go to prison for 45 years or whatever, 50 years in prison. Right, you could come out as an old man walking around the streets, and you just get this weird respect. Like, oh, there he is, Mr. Roger. Like, it's weird that we just give this like undying respect to old people. Like, it's why? Like, it's so fucking weird. Other cultures are just fucking kill them all. Like, fucking leave them to die. It's so fucking weird. I've always found it the strangest thing, where it's just like, you've got to respect your elders. Like, but why? Just respect everyone the same way they respect you. If they're nice to you, be nice to them. Don't just give them some weird respect. Granted, I understand I understand physical stuff. Granted, if someone's old and they're struggling to fucking stand up on a bus, like, let them sit down. That's physical.
Yeah, no,
that's very different. Yeah. But when it's fucking get out your chair, you silly cunt. Give me the respect that he deserves. Like tripping him up on the bus, just pushing him down the stairs. Like,
you know what? How rude of you not getting out the chair to say hello to me, you sack of shit.
So when it comes to just this weird obsession and just straight away, look at that cute old person. It's like, look at that cute old couple. They could go a cute old couple down the road. They could go home, and he could just batter the living shit out of her. And then the next day, it's like, oh, Doris must have fell down the stairs again. It's like, it's so fucking weird.
Oh no!
It's so weird. Then if he gets asked by the police, he's like, what? Are we in 1936? It's like, oh, he's got dementia. Leave it alone. He's fine. It's weird. And I do think it does apply to the Queen. It's like, she's a cute old lady, but it's like, yeah, she looks like that. But show the picture of her with holding a gun or stood above a dead tiger at her feet. Show that picture and see if the general public are like, oh, look how sweet she is.
That's just, no. Like,
they do, though. They go hunting. They do all the things that we all hate. And it's like, why do we love this person so much when she's such a dickhead? Like, it's so weird. It's very strange. But again, I think it's that cute old lady thing. Like, it's really weird. It's as if, like, I don't know. I can't think of another person who's as much of a cunt as one of the royals. But I'm definitely not sharing this to my mum, by the way. She would kill me and disown me forever. And even
a good thing in your opinion now that you're anti-royal and she's very royal.
no, I don't know. It's
you
one of them.
can
It's
finally
weird
go your
because
separate ways.
it's funny because on a podcast, it feels like it's all super one-sided on a podcast. But I know for a fact, if my mum was there, I'd be a lot quieter, a lot like yes. I wouldn't be saying much, but yeah, I think like it's one of them though. I think everyone's entitled to opinion. And if someone wanted to listen to this and go like, "Oh, you're a massive cunt, the Queen's amazing," like, yeah, fair enough. I don't care. Like, that's great.
No.
And I wouldn't. I don't think
so. The beauty of this is it's all it's all a matter of opinion, and I think you can't be criticised for not liking the Queen. At the end of the day, it's
that's the issue though. It seems like you can though. That's the weird thing. I do think if you put on social media saying this certain thing, if I posted a picture of the Queen stood above a tiger, someone would be like, "Oh, it's not the time." It's like, but I'm not the one who shot and killed the tiger. She was like, it's just like, it's weird that.
Did she actually
like,
do this?
Oh yeah. If you just put like the Queen hunting, you'll find. The thing is though, Google do get rid of a lot of pictures. But yeah, I've got a picture of her, like literally her, Prince Philip, her quite young as well. You can tell it's her because she's still got a shit haircut. Prince Philip, like other royals and other rich people who love hunting animals and killing them and using the fur for fucking coats and shit. Like, we all know what rich knobheads are like, and it's very strange that the richest and biggest knobhead of all, we're all like, ooh, 2 weeks of mourning is fucking weird. It's just really, really, really weird. Especially one who's paid off someone 12 million to shut their mouth and say that they've not been raped by the son. It's fucking weird. No one else would get away with that in reality. It's fucking weird. But she does because she's the Queen. Why is the Queen? And there's that Monty Python bit where he's like, "Well, I didn't vote for her," and I love it. It's brilliant because it sums up the royal family perfect. Like, because it's just him going on about why is King Arthur the king, and he's going on about Excalibur and stuff. And it's like you can't declare yourself king because some watery tart threw a sword at you. It's just like, fucking brilliant. Well, it's just it's true though, because it's like why are they royals? And in history, they're royals because they took everything off everyone because they were smart. I mean, I wish my ancestors had done the same, but sadly they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, nobody can argue with that. It was just quick thinking on their part, weren't it? Oh well, let's just conquer everything. Why not?
Yeah. Well, the same way I view the royal family is the same way I view the Catholic Church. It's exactly the same.
Please, God, don't. Right, now you really are open up a fucking because that's one that gets me mad. I tell you what, has got me mad since you bring up this subject. Just fucking every comment. Oh, what was it now? I can't remember what it is, like, but just the whole religious shit around this death is just fucking baffling. Like, just with they're all going like, "May God protect you" and stuff like that. It's just like, just let Charles mourn his mum's death, like but all this like. Oh God, yeah, no, I don't because I was watching that before, just shut the fuck. Do you know what he was meeting and greeting all like the people? It was then, and all the people. Oh my God, the crowd. Oh
yeah. Oh, I know, mate. God. I know. I was half expected to, and I'm just seeing my mum at the fence, like the Queen.
There's a bit too many weird fucking people in this world. There is. There's too many. There's too because. There was one going back to that point I made before about that guy doing a fucking salute selfie in himself. Like, there's people, like the Queen's just died, and there's people just taking pictures and videos of themselves at the place to show that they're there.
It's really weird, mate. It's very, very, very strange.
Imagine going to like your own grand's funeral, taking a video. So it's like me and you stood up to our grand's funeral doing a fucking podcast. Yeah, do you know what? I thought Maguire was shit this weekend. Alex, can you shut up, please? Your Grand's dead. No, fuck off a minute.
Weird.
No, Maguire was shit this weekend. Sorry, Grand. Yeah, I've put in the furnace. Oh, yeah, you're going to set on fire. It's fine. It's just weird. Why would you do that? So then people turning up outside of Buckingham Palace where the Queen has just died, just like, oh, I'm here in front of the Buckingham Palace. We've just been here for many, many years, but I'm just here today, especially because I know these cameras here. I've got my own camera. I'm going to film myself become a massive whopping cunt. Like, just what the fuck? Yeah. It's just so weird.
I turned on because I was waiting for the announcement because I knew she was dead at like 4 o'clock, and I remember I put it on Facebook saying like the Queen's dead, by the way, like because the thing with conspiracy theories, because you have to go and find certain things, like you have to go quite deep and use different things rather than Google, because Google and YouTube, like the theory that they censor everything is so true, mate. Like they censor everything. Like it's mad. You can't find anything. And I remember I was clicking through, and someone had put a video up of reporters and everyone getting in black suits, and it was pretty much like everything was there that she died. Like you could tell she died like well before it got announced. And then so I was putting the news on to see if she died, and they hadn't reported it for some weird reason yet. I don't know why they waited until everyone finished work. It's just strange, but yeah, the couple were just there at Balmoral, just waving at the camera. I thought that's so fucking weird. Like, what a very strange time to be like, look at me, I'm on TV.
I know. That's exactly my point. People are generally thinking, what a great opportunity this is to go on the camera. You know she's dead, right? Yeah, couldn't give a fuck. Yeah, take a picture of me. Yeah, am I on your Snapchat reel? Oh yeah, she's dead. Yeah, I know about that. Yeah, that's fine. What a weird thing to do. I just, that's why I make the comment of, imagine if it was someone that you knew who was, really important in your life. Just think about losing a family member. Let's just say you had a family member who was rich and famous. I don't know, one of the two, and people, knew that fame probably more. And then you've got some absolute fucking whopper like taking a video selfie. If I was Charles, I would have fucking bought a selfie stick and swatted the bastard round the head numerous times because it just, I don't get it. And then, oh God, and then I'm not going to stop now. And then just to top it off, when you think that's the pinnacle, it isn't. You get people on Twitter saluting a fucking camera in their own living room.
Yeah.
God save the Queen playing in the background. What are you fucking doing?
It is weird. It's strange. I mean, like, again, you do see people say, "Oh, but people grieve in their own different ways." I was like, no, they don't. In reality, they don't. On social media, they do because they want likes.
Come on. They do because
because grief is always the same. You cry, you feel upset, and that's it. That's the bottom line, really. You get upset and you get really over emotional upset. You don't ever pick up a camera. If you've ever gone through grief, right? If you've ever thought to yourself, I'm going to pick up a camera and film myself right now.
That's the point I made earlier, though. That's the exact point. So there's grieving, and I get that. But picking up a fucking camera and videoing yourself isn't grieving. It's just being a massive cunt. That's that's not grief. Grief. That's why
I've come off social media for the next few weeks, because I just know that it's not full of grieving people. It's full of cunts, but like not even the funny kind of cunts. Just these fucking like grabbers who are just like, give me all the likes, look how much I love the Queen. I do feel sad though. There is some people I do feel sad for. Like I laughed about it before, but I know for a fact there will be a 99-year-old out there who loves the Queen, who would have been fucking buzzing the tits off waiting for a letter off the Queen, and now they've got to settle for one off fucking King Charles.
Just made a point. Your mum loves the Queen. I bet she's gutted. And my mum's the same. Yeah. She loves the Queen. She was in tears. She told me today when I saw her today. She was in tears. She was gutted about it. Never met the woman. Never met her in her life. But because she's had so much influence on her since she was a young child, and because obviously parenting and the way kids are brought up has changed dramatically in our time. We were taught to respect the Queen probably in 1960, but now when we were brought up in 1990, that we probably were, but we've been brought up in a world where you can self-educate a bit more. So actually, the whole religious side of things in this country is dying down because of it. The respect for the Queen has probably died down because of it. A, because people don't really give a shit, and two, people are more aware of things that have happened and therefore have a better opinion on it. So I get that, but it. I can't. I'll just let you go. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm still raging about the whole take video of me thing. I can't. Honestly, do you know what? If you're one of them, I hope you fucking die in real life. You're a prick. I don't like you. So honestly,
someone doing a video about the Queen dying and they die on the video. Jesus Christ. That would be the ultimate fucking like grab.
Oh God, yeah. Pass me a beer or something.
That being said, I think that one or two things will happen because football's been cancelled, and it's grim. It is a grim thing to think about. But one of two things might happen. One, there might be someone who is in an abusive relationship, and the only break they get from that is when their fella goes to the football match. They've got to stick with him in the flat when he's fucking bored out of his mind now, when he's going to batter her. That's probably one thing that'll happen. With all the football teams and all the fucking like domestic abusers in this country, that is something that'll happen directly from the games getting cancelled. And another thing is mental health with people. Some of them, and I've seen Wigan fans say today, the biggest relief and the only relief they get from their week is going to the games, and they've been denied that. Like, and it's just, and it's nothing more than virtue signalling, and it's just, it should never have happened. It's just stupid. It's not a sign of respect. It's not anything. It's just virtue signalling. It's just, look at me, and I've cancelled it. It's fucking stupid.
Because the point that everybody, well, not everybody's missing, I suppose a lot of people have made actually, is the fact that you're still going to go work. You know, you still got to go to work. So why cancel why cancel the things we like? What are we meant to be sad? Are we just oh yeah, fuck it, let's make you really, really sad. Make sure you know about it. No, you can go work. That's fine. You know, we're not asked about that. But no, you are not watching football this way. Oh, by the way, as well, grassroots football, from that concern as well, you can't even play it because you're not allowed to get hold of a referee. So my team were thinking about doing a friendly, just in case, and they said you can't do it.
Fucking weird. It's strange. It's exactly what you just said. It is like they're saying to us, like, don't you dare have fun whilst the Queen's dead.
Don't have fun. Like, no, Queen's dead. Don't have fun.
Go to work. Well, joke's on them because I love work. I'm joking.
That's really premature.
Make the most of work now. Yay. And I work for a German company, so there's no way they would cancel because the Queen fucking loves Germany, as we all know. Yeah, they would never shut down.
She's ancestral German, to be fair to her. I mean, you've got to get that.
Bavarian, mate. Fucking all that. But I want to see how she's buried. Did you know that Jimmy Savile's buried at a very weird, suspicious way? Because he was a Freemason. He was buried at like a fucking... He was buried at... he got smashed up, which is fair enough. But the way he was buried was at like a fucking 30-degree angle, and it's all like... he was buried in all different weird fucking uniforms and weird things because he was like a fucking 32nd degree Mason. Very fucking strange. I want to see if the Queen comes out in some kind of big fucking Freemason box. There she is. Hey, oh God. It's honestly, this is it. This is what happens. If I get bored and I come off social media, I end up watching documentaries and I just get so fucking wrapped up in them.
I think you need to stop. It sounds like you've got a problem, mate. Honestly, like, you are so warped with these conspiracy theories. It's a bit worrying. Do you know what? You can imagine it. Imagine this guy's going to, like, someone's having an house party, you're enjoying it. And this fucker comes on. It's like, oh, well, did you...
Hey, we're going to one tomorrow.
Did you actually know that Keir Starmer was the deputy head of fucking Illuminati? So here we go. Fuck me. Who's this prick? Is it? who's invited this?
No.
Prick?
Well, the thing is, the weird thing is, up to a certain degree, the Freemasons are absolutely harmless. They're just a bunch of decent guys, pretty much by all accounts. It's when you get to the high levels where it gets a bit fucking dark and sinister and becomes businessmen taking advantage. Like,
sorry, that point I just made wasn't a platform for you to carry on with this. It was that.
No, you can't escape it tomorrow. Luckily, I've got work on Sunday, so I can't drink too much tomorrow. But tomorrow will be.
You'll still do it anyway. Like
Steel beams can't melt at that certain temperature.
Oh, fuck off! No.
Hey, that's only in it's only 2 days' time. 2 days' time, we'll be back on that.
Oh, speaking of which, speaking of something we can all enjoy, because they can't fucking cancel this, can they? The Lord of the Rings is back. It's back.
Oh,
I'm so happy.
You've been watching it?
Happy. I've watched the first two. I've not seen the third one yet, but
I've watched.
I'm actually.
It's.
Do you know what? For all the critics that it got before, I'm really enjoying it so far.
I'm glad you said that. I was in the same boat as a lot of people. I did not like the look of it. I really didn't like. I didn't like the beardless dwarfs, blah blah blah, and I didn't like the beardless female dwarf, should I say?
Sorry to interrupt, but do you remember we did one of our first podcasts ever about it potentially being released? I always remember this, and we saw that picture of that woman dwarf, and both said it was going to be shit.
Hey, literally the first thing we said, exactly, this is what I'm saying. And I remember seeing Warrior Galadriel, and I was like, no. I was just like, I do not like this. I watched the first 2 episodes, and I was just like, oh, this straight away, mate. You just fucking, mate. There's a massive, not what you think of, but there's a brilliant character reveal in episode 3, and it's fucking brilliant. But I didn't get to watch it. Literally, they said his name, and then I had to go out, and it's only about 20 minutes into the episode, so I'm like, I really didn't want to leave the episode. But the first 2 were fucking brilliant. Like, it looks amazing. It does have that Lord of the Rings feel, but not overbearing. And I think the acting's really good. The female dwarf in question was brilliant. I thought she smashed that. That she was exactly what you'd expect from a female dwarf. Yeah. No, she was good. Everyone though, really, The only thing I'd say so far is Gandalf don't turn up until I think it's a certain time, third age, I think. And if he turns up now, it wouldn't really suit. So if that guy who fell from the star is revealed as Gandalf, I wouldn't be a massive fan of that.
No, maybe not. Well, do you know the point I was just going to make? Actually, was that's the only bit of acting where I feel like, meh. You know, I'm a bit bored of that already.
That storyline's a bit like, I can't speak English. I can't learn to speak. I don't understand. It's like, shut up.
It's just any big company's IT operative on the other side of the phone. That's all he is right now. Nobody understands them. And he doesn't understand us. So
it could build. It could build to something. I'm just hoping it's not a Gandalf reveal, though. It's a striking resemblance. He's tall. He's got kind of hair, and some of the things he did that big
the sky. There's a big fucking fire pit around him that isn't even warm. Kind of does suggest he's got something. I mean, to be honest, I would just love it if it ended up being like Treebeard or something, just absolute plot twist.
Did you see the baby Ents? I missed it first time around. I rewatched them first 2 episodes.
What? Really? Hello? We've gone.
Hello?
We're back. We're back.
What? No.
Well, we're going to have to cut that 2 minutes. Hello?
Are you gone?
No, I'm here. Can you hear me? I'm here.
Did you see the end?
Yes. We're back. Right. Anyway, I don't know what you must have stood up and gone somewhere because I'm.
No, when I was. Someone was ringing me. But did you see the end when the shooting star came over or whatever?
This is what I mean. I'm gonna have to rewatch them both. No, what are you doing? Put the fucking phone down. Do not answer that phone call.
I keep getting phone calls, mate. I'm not answering it. But every time. Every time they ring, it disconnects. Every time they ring me, it fucking puts this out.
It's MI5, the sick of your shit.
King Charles is ringing like, hello. Fucking say that again, you little mag. Well, it's only 2, and I thought it was just trees when I first watched it, but the second time I noticed them hugging each other, as if they're comforting each other. Yeah, I didn't realise until the second time I watched. But it's 2 ends. Yeah.
What?
The one of the reveals I'll say about the next episode you're about to watch is they go to Numenor. It's fucking amazing.
Can you just fucking shut up now? Because you just ruined it.
Good.
You ruined it.
Yeah, it's so good. I've not ruined now. but it's still good.
I tell you what, our theories were correct first and foremost. Obviously, I remember us mentioning time ago that it would be a prequel, like a second age prequel, and we're absolutely bang on with that. Granted, I think a lot of people listen to this now and be like, well, duh.
Yeah.
But this conversation was a long time ago. So yeah. But no, I'm sorry, just going back to it, it's so good. Like, it's actually fucking mental, isn't it? Like, I honestly, I'm really enjoying it. Like, I've finished watching The Boys, and that's great. Like, honestly, like, that's so good. I've never seen something as fucked up in my life, but it's good. I really enjoy it. But then, like, this Lord of the Rings thing has just brought back that whole, you can enjoy telly again for me, because I'm just really, there's fuck all. I mean, considering there's, meant to be so many things you can watch, I found myself desensitized to all of them. Like, oh shit.
The weird thing is, both the shows that I was literally rubbing my hands with to rip apart and be like, Dave was shit, I've enjoyed the most. House of Dragon, I think, is excellent as well. I started that and I thought it's really good. It's really.
You're not allowed to do Game of Thrones. I don't do Game of Thrones. I've not watched it. I think it's a shit Lord of the Rings. Nobody's going to tell me. Listen, come at me. Anybody come at me. If you think Game of Thrones is better than Lord of the Rings, you're a little chode. I
would never go that far. But season 1 to 5 of Game of Thrones are really good, and the new series is much better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a piece of turd, but it's actually a lot better. And then this Lord of the Rings thing, mate, I don't know why, but part of me was ready to just rip it apart. I thought it was just going to be trash, and it's proven me so wrong. Like, I've loved everything about it so far, really.
That's what I mean. I think there's literally nothing I can be critical of. Like
even Elrond looked like a right mong when I first seen him. I thought, he looks terrible. He does not look like Elrond. But then when you see him speaking and stuff, like, he does look like a young Elrond, actually. And the images of I know we've not seen him, but Sauron. Like, that's fucking sick. And the fucking end of episode 2 is fucking creepy as shit. That fucking, is it a goblin or an orc? Because he comes from under the ground. What is that?
I don't know. What is that?
I weren't sure, because it, like, for me, it looked more goblin-y, because it had like a little bald head and it's got them like long claws. He didn't really like an orc, but I suppose this is more based with orcs than goblin. I'm not really sure, but it creeped me the fuck out. I knew that much. The whole horror thing of like hid in the closet and like waiting for it to make eye contact. Like, it did creep me out a bit, didn't it?
Yeah. No, honestly, I felt the same. It had that moment of suspense where you kind of like shit a little bit. But yeah, no, it's honestly, I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to watching the third one. I might do it tonight. But it's just really, really good. And I mean, I'll probably wrap it up with this because I've just realised we've gone over our hour again. But so far from what you've seen, and yes, you can include the third episode, just don't tell me anything about it. Do you reckon you can see why it's had billions spent on it?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like,
yeah, because
considering how much money.
I don't see it yet. That's what I'm saying. I just don't see it yet.
You've not seen Numenor yet. Numenor looks fucking glorious, mate. I can imagine how much he would have spent to build this place. Like, it's great. It looks good. It does look good. I just think like there's just a sharpness of everything. Like, everything just looks amazing, but you can just tell with, like, I don't know, everything is like, with even Game of Thrones will do this. Like, most sets will be pretty basic, and then they'll have one amazing set, or they'll have one amazing part of CGI. If you go back through them first 2 episodes, like I did today, look at every single scene. Every scene is just full of just mad shit that looks like it cost a fucking fortune to build or put together with CGI. Like, it's crazy. Even where the Harfoots live, they're not in the Shire at the minute. They're in Rohan, I think.
No. Yeah, they're not there because they're kind of like hiding, aren't they? That's how they survive.
But even where they are looks pretty fucking good. Like, not in terms of CGI, but the way it's all been set up and built and stuff, and their makeup and stuff like that looks amazing. The big CGI thingy, what is that, like sea monster worm, what they call it, like that looks pretty fucking impressive. Granted, because it's supposed to be the most expensive of all time, isn't it? But it's not really missed a beat in terms of, I've not looked at anything yet and go, that's crap. But at the same time, being said,
no,
I watched Lord of the Rings, the original trilogy, and I still go like, that still looks fucking mint. It was like the early 2000s. Like, it's fucking wild how good that looks.
I think the only one is like when you get to the Fellowship and you see what used to be like the height of the cinematic is now a bit like meh. Looks like a, you know, it does kind of look like a PS2 game in some respects, way, but that could do with an update.
But the thing, I think I'm not 100% where it's going to go, and I think like I've not really heard how many series are going to go because they've spent so much on Series 1. I imagine they'd want at least 5 seasons of this, and I don't know if they've got the budget to make it this good all the way through. So I'm not sure what happens with that. There's so much story though. I don't want them to do a Game of Thrones. I don't know because you said you don't follow Game of Thrones. Pretty much what happened to Game of Thrones after season 5. They went off story and made up their own shit, and it fucking fell apart so quick. It went from like such a good show to just a pile of shit. Like it was weird because I saw some of the like fan theories of, well, this is where the show's going to go. We're fucking perfect, like that hits the nail on the head. And then what they wrote was fucking diabolical. It was just like, well, she stabs the Witch King for no reason. Like, what? Why? No. And I think Lord of the Rings, like, they have a tendency to do that with The Hobbit, like when Legolas just racks up, like, and it's Legolas now for some reason. Like, why? Like, I don't want them to do that. Just don't do that. That's my worry with that guy turning up. I'm like, do not reveal him at the end of season 1 to be Gandalf. And it's like, it's Gandalf again because we can't think of anything original. Because they've done so well with everything else, but like you said, that part of the story, that's the one little bit in my head where I go, please don't, just don't do that.
I mean, with respect to Lord of the Rings, right, you know, the films are amazing, and now we're at this point where, you know, of course, we're worried about the next step, like the series, but actually, it's been really good so far, and the reason I keep saying that is because take Marvel. You know, take the Marvel films, for example. Like, that Thor Love and Thunder was shite. And the last few Marvel films have been shit. Like, they really...
Was it Thor now? It's not been great. I found Thor entertaining, but it's very off, like, off concept. They've gone more for entertainment rather than the actual, any kind of storytelling. Yeah,
it's like shit. It's just money. It's just
Multiverse of Madness missed the mark a lot as well. Like it's a shame, really. Like I said it to Shelby actually. I said I'd rather them just call it a day now and come back, like kind of have a bit of a reboot and something like, you know what I mean, like come back because the series they've made haven't been bad. I've not really watched She-Hulk. I've watched a bit of it. And it's not been amazing. It's been just what I'd expect. She's just a lawyer. But I liked Moon Knight and a few of the others, which are pretty good. But then the WandaVision one was good, but that's led into Multiverse of Madness where she just nothing, like she just kills everyone and then kills herself at the end. It was a bit of a weird film, to be fair. Like it was like, here's the story, but now we're going to end it with everybody dead. But this isn't your universe. This is an imaginary universe. Like, why? It was very, I don't know. It was weird, but
no, you no,
like TV has been on its ass for a while, though. TV and film has been on its ass for a while. But I think both these shows for me have come at the right time. Both these shows have definitely come at the right time. Like I look forward to watching Lord of the Rings now every Friday. Like oh, you know, another good one as well. The Wrexham documentary. I'm kind of enjoying that as well. You know, with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. They've made a documentary about buying Wrexham.
I thought you were going to say bootlegger there.
Bootlegger. Ryan Reynolds and Bootlegger have made a documentary about buying Wrexham. But that's quite good. It's very different from the... have you watched the like Arsenal and the City ones, you know, the All or Nothing? It's very different from that. No. It's it's more like at the foundations.
Why would I watch them fuckers do a TV show? Do I have a collapse on my own arsehole? No way am I watching them fucking bunch of freaks do anything.
You got to watch them get beat by Wigan. That was the best part of the whole fucking series.
Right, well, tell me what minute that starts, and I'll fucking fast forward to that.
I can't remember now, but yeah, I think the Lord of the Rings, like, it's hit the market at the right time. It really could scoop up all the awards because it's coming right at the right time, and it's good. It's actually quite good. But the tough thing about TV is it's not the same as a film. You watch one film, which is like 2 hours long, you know straight away then that's a great film. But with a TV series, the first 4 episodes could be amazing. Then you get to fucking episode 7 and it's like, oh, this is Gandalf and also Elrond and now that this person and also here's Frodo, he's come back from the future. Like, what the fuck? Like, it could just honestly, it could just decimate so quickly. That's what I'm worried about. That's my only worry at the minute. But episode 3 looks great so far. We've gone to Numenor and everything's great, and then there's a big character reveal. And with that character reveal, you know that his story is going to be fucking great. And it's like, yeah, I'm ready for that.
I get the feeling this fucker that don't talk is actually Gandalf. You're just not telling me yet. I don't know why.
No, that's not the reveal. If that was a reveal, mate, I'd have deleted my Prime subscription. I would have cancelled everything like that. I am waiting for that reveal, though, because it's one...
It was... Fuck this about... I'm sick of this shit.
It's just the reveal that it feels inevitable. It does feel inevitable, and I'm waiting for it. And I do feel like by the time I've got to it, I'm hoping I've calmed down and I won't overreact to it. But right now, I'm just like, just don't let it be Gandalf, because it's not necessarily like it'd ruin anything. Like, it's easy to adapt something and say that. I don't know. Then again, he does say in the films that I arrived here, the end. I don't know, but either way. I feel like it won't change the show that much. It'll just piss me off that it's so lazy to be like, we need a character. Oh, just Gandalf for no reason. Like, just fucking make somebody up. Like, I could come up with a random fucking character. Like, Tolkien came up with everything. There's so much to go through. Like, there's loads of stuff. Like, fucking Tom Bombadil didn't even make it into the original films, and he was a massive character in the books. He was all over that shit in the books, but that's how much of a good source there is there for so many good characters that one of the massive ones didn't even get used in the book. But again, it's one of them. I hope it doesn't happen. It might. If it does, I'm open to not let it affect me.
I don't know why I kind of want it to just piss you off. I don't know.
I just love it. The final episode, the post credits scene, he's just him on screen going, and also I'm Gandalf. Yeah, I fucking rage so bad.
I just want it in the last episode, like Sauron's get punched by Prince Charles and just like, something really stupid,
This is honestly, it is my big worry for it all, because it does look so good, and like I like the way that they're leaving now to go to the Elven camp.
Would you shut the fuck up? Why would you?
No, you find out after she kills that goblin/orc, whoever it is, she chops its head off, doesn't she, and puts it on the table and says, anyone who wants to survive, come with me to the Elven camp. And you don't, I've only watched 20 minutes, and so far they're literally just walking off towards that camp, so that's it. And I've not ruined anything there. So this story's emerging. Obviously, Galadriel wants to go and find Sauron, so that's a nice little story. But then, like you said, this weird one with this fucking Gandalf man, like, that could go either way for me. Like, it's a big worry. It's a big concern.
You know what? I just don't think something. I hope they just completely fuck it up. Like, just somehow Idris Elba plays Gandalf or something like that. Just something completely fucked up.
Fucking Samuel Jackson. I've had it with his motherfucking dwarfs in his motherfucking cave. He just fucking racks up with a lightsaber. It's fucking, I hope not. I just hope. I liked the hint towards, is it the King's Jewel as well? In the it didn't show it, but when they open that box, is it the King of the Dwarfs? I can't remember what it's called. They don't really get a mention, I don't think.
Durin?
No, I think that's the prince, isn't it? I think that's the prince, but then the King's called like
Dane.
Something, maybe. I'm not too sure.
Maybe I'm slacking with my Lord of the Rings knowledge. This
But
really
I think
this is
honestly,
a good book for me.
Yeah, I'm the same, mate. Honestly, back when I was like 15, 16, mate, there's not one thing you could tell me about Lord of the Rings without me knowing it. But now I feel like I'm a bit like a bit sluggish with it all. But it definitely got me back into it. But yeah, he's looking. I'd definitely suggest watching episode 3. I have not finished watching it, but the first 20 minutes were brilliant. Like really good. Just the story's going at a nice pace. Like it's such. Ever since Game of Thrones has put such a fear factor in me because that was going at such a nice pace, and then it's just. I kind of want you to watch that because the first 5 seasons are so good.
This is the exact reason. Apart from Lord of the Rings, which I've never done it for, but anything else, I've always got other people trial and test.
Yeah,
like I've always got other people tell me what a good series is, and to be honest, usually if it wasn't Lord of the Rings, I'd wait for it to be finished. It was like Vikings. I only started watching that when it had finished, and that's what years. But because I could just binge watch it, so it was fine. So it was just I let TV people who've got nothing better to do than just sit there and watch it. I let them do all the fucking that's good, that's shite, and I just pick.
Do you have any intentions of ever watching Game of Thrones?
No, not in a million years.
Right, I'll ruin it.
That is, to me, the only thing I can think of is the Tiscly broadband version of Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry.
Right. I'll give you a very quick review of it, right then. From season 1 to 5, there's a massive build-up. There's a family, and one of them goes on a massive journey to find out how to fight the Night King, or whatever he's called.
I've already lost interest. Nobody cares.
Right.
This is
and
awful. This is
his sister's gone somewhere else to do something completely irrelevant to fighting the Night King. He goes on a massive journey, and then the battle comes to kill the Night King, who's turning up, and then it's his sister who's had no say in the matter, who stabs the king with some weird sword and kills him without any kind of questioning. It's so fucking stupid. It's the stupidest. It's right up there with Dexter as the stupidest ending.
That sounds crap. That actually sounds crap. I've got no interest in watching it.
But the first 5 seasons though are nothing like that. The last 2 are just stupid. But the first 5 are so well written. Everything comes to pieces perfectly. Like there's like theories and everything, and they all click in nicely. And it's like, betrayals and blah blah blah, and it's all great. Then the last 2 seasons are just like they pull fucking like storylines out of a hat and go, yeah, sounds fine. Just let that happen. Like I'm not. It's fucking stupid. Oh god, it's fucking bad.
Yeah, I'll pass. I will 100% pass. I'm not interested in that in the slightest. No, I'm good. Not for me. No, on a serious note, though, I've got no interest in it. Like it didn't look good to me then. It don't look good to me now. Like I'm just and I know all my family tell me to watch it all the time, but I just don't care. I just really don't care. I only watch good things, and that just doesn't show me as good. So anyway, we've been on this for far too long. Gonna wrap it up. And just let everybody know, remind them that Lisandro Martinez is the best centre-back in the world.
Yeah, that's fine. I'd even mention that Thilo Asgard scored a last-minute winner for Wigan last week.
Oh, mate. No, I saw it. Yeah, no, I'm surprised, actually, because that does deserve a mention, to be fair.
It does, mate. 20 years old, from the academy. I've raved about him on here before. Not last minute, but 88th minute, ball comes to him. As soon as he brought that, as soon as he saw that ball out of his feet, I went goalless. 100%, boom, straight in. I thought, yes, that kid is Premier League. He'll go to the Premier League. We're nailed on. It's such a good winner. And then we won. Happy days, 3 points. Shit performance, but 3 points. We'll take it. And that's all I've got to say about football.
I mean, why in the Championship it's so difficult to put a good performer? Right, hang on a minute. This is going to go on for fucking 9 years now. Right, no. Right, let me just summarise the fact that you don't need a good performance to win games. That's all it takes. Right, that is all it takes.
And that's our football chat.
Yeah,
mate, we've done like an hour on the Queen, 20 minutes on Lord of the Rings, and 3 minutes on football. That's what this podcast is.
And that is what a football podcast is all about.
Yeah, pretty much, right. Oh, Jesus. Well, I'll see you tomorrow at Fitz's.
Aye, mate. Aye. see each other tomorrow. Can't wait for another one of your conspiracy theories to fucking lighten the mood.
No, I don't trust the crowd tomorrow. I won't say anything to them. I can mute tomorrow. There'll be like great British flags everywhere. I'm like, fuck's sake.
That's worrying.
No. I'll blend in, mate. I'll just start singing the national anthem. I'll just blend in. I'm one of you. I love the Queen. I've got a picture of him in my pocket.
Yeah,
£20.
Oh, God, stop it. Right, anyway, no, I'll leave you to it. All right.
See you in a bit, mate. Bye, mate.
Bye.